In mid-July 2026, the central infrastructure of northeast India was swallowed by water. In towns across the region, people waded through chest-high currents just to reach a neighborhood schoolyard. Evacuation efforts became a race against a rising tide. With solid ground vanishing, rescue teams operated from inflatable rafts, passing infants and elderly residents across the floodwaters to safety. Situation Report Number 2, issued on July 18th, documented the scale of the emergency. The data showed a massive spike in displaced persons, as the water overran civic defenses in both Assam and Mizoram. Heavy monsoon rains are the lifeblood of this region, providing the irrigation necessary to drive the local agricultural economy every summer. Standard monsoons do not collapse entire states. To understand why this one did, we have to trace the path of the water as it collided with the physical shape of the land. This map illustrates the sharp geographical divide in northeast India. The jagged, high-altitude terrain of Mizoram towers directly over the depressed, flat river basin of Assam. As the July rains hit Mizoram, the steep hillsides acted as a catchment. The thin layer of mountaintop soil reached its saturation point within hours. Under the sheer weight of the water, the slopes gave way. Massive landslides of mud and rock broke free, burying everything in their path. These rockfalls severed the mountain highways, the only physical links to the outside world. This instantly isolated thousands of people in high-altitude villages. On these steep inclines, gravity forces the runoff into narrow ravines, creating high-velocity torrents that move with enough force to strip the land bare. The mountains acted as a kinetic multiplier. The terrain took standard rainfall, transforming it into a high-speed force aimed directly at the valleys. This graphic shows the physical trap created by regional geography. Assam sits at the basin's bottom, catching every gallon of mountain runoff. The Brahmaputra River already runs near capacity, leaving no room to absorb the sudden influx from Mizoram. The runoff's velocity eroded the banks until primary embankments failed. Without defenses, the water surged past the river's edge and into residential plains. Because Assam is so flat, the breached water had no downward path left to follow. It pooled in place, submerging entire communities in a basin with no exit. As urban centers became deep water zones, relief logistics broke down. Responders had to abandon traditional vehicles for inflatable MAFs just to navigate city streets. Assam's crisis was the result of a geographic bottleneck. The state caught the mountain runoff, but its flat terrain kept the water trapped. The receding water leaves behind a secondary crisis. Stagnant pools contaminated by urban waste become breeding grounds for waterborne diseases. Mobilizing clean drinking water for relief camps is now a critical priority to prevent outbreaks of cholera and dysentery among those who lost their homes. Broad climate patterns are shifting. The steady monsoons of previous decades are being replaced by concentrated extreme rainfall events that deliver months' worth of water in a few days. This graph tracks rainfall against infrastructure failure. Notice the spike. With degraded natural defenses, even small rainfall increases now cause massive failures. The July 2026 event sits at the far edge, a new high-risk baseline for the region. Traditional defenses, like simple mud embankments, are ineffective against this volume. The force of the runoff now exceeds the physical capacity of localized barriers. Surviving future monsoons requires a change in strategy. Northeast India can only protect itself by treating its states not as separate entities, but as one interconnected and highly vulnerable watershed.